Top Shelf.
Hello and welcome to Top Shelf Board Games. I'm Hubba, and today we're going to learn how to play Patchwork. In Patchwork, we're going to be collecting buttons, using these buttons to buy patches to build the best quilt out there. So let's get to the table and get you playing. All right, in Patchwork, your turns are not necessarily you take a turn, I take a turn. Your turn is determined by where you're at on the time board. If you are behind, you get to take actions until your token is ahead of your opponent's token. I can take actions, I can either advance and receive buttons, or I can take and place a patch. To advance and receive buttons, I would simply take my marker and move it until my piece is now ahead of my opponent's. And I would count the spaces, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For each space that I moved, I would collect one button. Because I moved 5 spaces, I'd take 5 buttons and put them in my player area. Anytime you pass a button on the time board, you'll look at your player board and count up all the buttons that you have showing. So I have 1, 2, 3 buttons. I would then collect an additional 3 buttons. Anytime your marker passes one of these single patches, if you're the first one to pass it, you'll take that patch and you can go ahead and immediately place it onto your board. The next action you can do is you can take and place a patch. I would look at the token and I can purchase in clockwise order 3 patches from that token. So these are the 3 options that I have available. I would choose a patch that I want to purchase. I would move my neutral token over to where that patch is at. I would pay for that patch. For this one, I would pay 7 buttons. And then I would take and place this patch onto my quilt board. Once I've placed it on there, then I would move my time marker, or my marker 2 spaces on the time board. The first person to complete a 7x7 grid will get the 7x7 bonus point marker, which is worth 7 buttons at the end of the game. Play will continue around until both markers have reached the center of the board, collected their last set of buttons, and at this time, players will count up to see who has the most buttons. Scoring works like this. To determine the number of buttons you have left, you'll add the value of a special tile if available. So if you have the 7 buttons, you'll add the 7 buttons. You'll also count up all the buttons that you have in your player area. You'll subtract 2 points from your player board for each square that's showing. You'll subtract that from your total buttons that you have, and that'll be your final score. Whoever has the highest score wins the game.